Hi guys, this is Sharon with Crafty Acres, and today I thought I'd give you a little bit of a mini garden tour and also talk to you about when it's time to plant and when it's time to hold off and just wait for better weather to be able to plant in. And you'll understand that here in a little bit. So first of all, we'll go ahead and do the garden tour, and I'll show you what we have going on. So right here I have a raised bed that we've put a bunch of onions in, and they're doing really well. They look good. They're the little bulb onions that you get, and then we have orange, or we have the white, yellow, and red ones. I don't know why I said orange, but anyway, that's what we have there. And we like to do succession. We like to also do succession plantings, and so this is another succession planting of, again, the yellow, white, and orange, red little bulb onions. And so these will be nice. They'll be ready in a few weeks, where we're picking on the other ones already. Okay, right here, it might be hard to see. I'll see if I can't get up close, but that right there is a red cabbage. And I had planted, so I just showed you my red cabbage, and I had planted in this spot a whole bunch of cabbage. I think I had like 18 green Copenhagen, and I think there was 8 red cabbage, and that's about the only one that's left. What we did was we planted it was about 2 weeks ago. Let me start over. Our frost-free date is April 25th. It was bright and warm and sunshiny. The nights were looking pretty good. They were in the 40s and upper 50s. And we had some rain coming in the first part of May. And so we didn't start planting anything until just before that rainstorm was coming in. We knew we were going to get a bunch of rain, but we didn't know we were going to get as much rain as we got. And with that rain, it rained so much that our gardens flooded, basically. It came down so hard and it rained so much that it flooded. You can even see in places of the garden still where the soil has washed into different sections of the garden. We wanted to go ahead and get a head start on some of the plantings, and so I put out all the cabbage. I thought I would be doing the right thing by opening up some space in the greenhouse where we were holding them over till we could get them out. Now I do have some broccoli that's looking really good, and we planted them the same night. I also planted a bunch of sweet peas, and we'll show you those here in a few minutes. They're not doing too bad. But unfortunately, the cabbage, it got drowned out. And so I'm going to have to reseed and replant our cabbage. Now this is our sweet peas. Don't mind how much the weeds are in them. Some of it's grass clippings, and then some of it is a little bit of weeds. But the bright green is the sweet peas, and it goes on down the row. And you can even see over here how the soil compacted, and then once it got compacted, it kind of washed down the way. And so the garden is on a little bit of a slope, but not that much that it should help. It shouldn't do that on a nice rain. And then we have a couple of rows of red Pontiac potatoes. Those don't look too bad. Now this row doesn't look as good as that one, but this one got put in first, and then we planted some more, and here's some more of potatoes. Now what we did on these is we went ahead and covered them with grass clippings, and grass clippings is a good thing to do. Here you can see the potatoes coming through. And the grass clippings is a good thing because it keeps the weeds down. I thought I'd go ahead and show you this snowball bush in full bloom. It's so pretty. And it's in the evening, so you can see the sun shining off of it. It's getting dusk. And then we have a grape arbor next to it over here. But there's really nothing to see over there. The leaves aren't starting to come out or anything on it. You can just see the brambles of the grape vines. Here is our strawberry bin. And it's actually one of those 3-tiered jobbies that we bought a few years back and then put our strawberries in. You can see the little strawberries starting to come on and they're full of bloom. But unfortunately, every night we have to come out, cover them up, and then every day take the straw off so that they can get the sunshine on them. And back to the main garden. This is over here is where all the rows of sweet potatoes are off to the right. And this is, we have 2 rows of beans. They're not coming up. We put them in before that first rain. Then we thought, because it was warmer then, we thought we'll put in 6 rows of bodacious. Again, I don't see a thing coming up. And that was about almost 2 weeks ago. So we also, on that same day, we went ahead and put out 8 rows of Ambrosia corn and 2 rows of beans, white half runner, and those aren't coming up either. Bodacious was a risk because usually you need to have a little bit of a warmer ground temperature for the bodacious to come up, but we thought, you know, it's been warm, we're just going to get some rain, it'll moisten the soil, that'll germinate quicker. But we didn't know we were going to have a deluge of rain in one day and then have a break from one day and then another storm coming in. They didn't realize the storm was going to come like that. The storms were going to come back to back practically, and we just got too much rain. And with all that rain, we had a lot of overhead cloud cover, and that kept the weather from warming up the ground temperature. And let me show you something here. This is what I did between yesterday and today. So right here is part of the row where the beans are. And I took a hoe just to see if there was anything sprouting. There wasn't anything sprouting. And it was pretty wet underneath there. That I just cracked the surface on. This here is what I did today. That's still pretty wet under there. And I just cracked the surface with the hoe. Okay, so now it's evening out here. It's getting kind of chilly. So our temperatures right now are between 10 and 20 degrees cooler at night. We're still getting 30, 40 degree temperatures in the evening at night. And that's pretty cold. We're supposed to be at upper 40s into the 50s at night. Well into the 50s, like mid 50s. During the day, we're supposed to be on the high 70s and even 80s. And right now, we're just getting I think it was low 60s today. It's supposed to be 50s tomorrow, upper 50s tomorrow. See, we're well below our temperature. My dad was telling me that he heard about cicadas. We should be having cicadas out of the ground right now. We don't have any cicadas. And he was saying with the cicadas, the ground temperature has to be 65 degrees for the cicadas to come up out of the ground. With the ground temperatures being so cold, they're around 62 degrees. It would take 3 days in a row of having 80-degree weather to be able to move the ground temperature up 3 degrees. We're just not getting that right now. Do you think I'm going to take a risk if I lost my cabbage and their cold weather products? Do you think I'm going to take a risk and put out my tomatoes? No. They need at least 55 degrees to be able to grow, but your ground temperature needs to be warm enough for them to survive. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and put them in the ground and hoop them, put up a little bit of a temporary structure and hoop them, I could do that. I have a greenhouse. We're just going to do it a different way, and we'll show you in the next few days or even into next week how we're going to work with the weather that we have right now. You just don't want to get, if you're in a situation, if you're in the part of the country where you're having trouble like this, where the ground is too wet to work and you can't, and the temperatures are too cold, trust me, don't jump the gun. You're going to end up regretting it. You're going to end up losing a lot of plants in half, or having plants that are just sitting there staring at you, not growing, not doing anything, not even really having a chance to acclimate themselves to the soil. It'll be harder on the plants. It's better for you to wait than to push forward. Now, if you are in an area where maybe you've had a lot of rain but your temperatures are warm enough that you can go ahead and plant, there's one thing I could suggest you do. And this is what I've done in the past, is we do an in-ground garden. We also do raised beds. With the in-ground garden, what I would do is I would bring my rototiller out, put it on the highest setting, and just let it crack the ground. Because as you can see over here, where I cracked it yesterday, it actually got in there and was able to dry up some of the ground, some of the soil. It's not very deep, but it was able to dry it up. Where I just cracked it a few minutes ago, right here, that's pretty muddy yet. So if you go in and crack the soil, you're going to be able to have you'll be able to get into the ground faster, and you'll still have to let it probably set for a day or two. You can watch your soil and see how long it takes, and then you can move on from there. And now I'm going to show you, I want to end this video on a happy note. So let me go ahead and show you our broccoli. It's doing fabulous. Check out all this broccoli. It's just a little itty bitty bed real close to my greenhouse. Yes, I need to mow the grass over here on my right and the grass is mown on the other side, but didn't that look good? This is a variety. Okay, this is a variety of broccoli that we really enjoy. It's called Premium Crop. It has a wonderful head on it and it produces a great big main head of broccoli, and then the side shoots are just as wonderful. They taste just as good, and then they last pretty good, and you can tell how much rain we got. This is pretty wet over here, but the broccoli seems to not be bothering it much. There's just a few yellow leaves, but not that much. They're mainly the older leaves that we're going to fall off eventually anyway. So the broccoli looks good. And then we have more in the greenhouse right in front of me that we're going to be showing you in the future. We'll go do a tour of it. I'm trying to clean it up and make it a little more presentable because I have plants everywhere. So I'm trying to get it a little more organized for you. And then we'll show you how we're going to combat not being able to plant in the garden. I normally am planting in the garden May 1st. Can't do that this year. Rain's just kicking us out of our gardens. And we are in Zone A, 6A in Southwest Ohio. But I hope that this has encouraged people that your day is coming. My day is coming. I'll be able to plant them out. There's some things I can do in the meantime that I can do with my plants to keep them going, keep them strong and healthy. And I'll be sharing that with you in the videos to come. There's also, and if you're able to get out in the gardens, I wish I could too, but I'm glad that you're able to go ahead and get out in the gardens and get a head start on things. So I hope this gave you some insight if you're in this situation like I am, and that you learned something. Just take your time. In God's time we can do all things, and right now it's my time to be patient. Thank you guys. See you next time.